obviously going back to the Stanley Cup Final. Just how maybe better equipped is this team this time around, just given the fact you've all, or the most of the guys in that row now, been through all of this last year?
Yeah, obviously it makes a big difference. Last year we learned a lot from our run and even going to the final and what it takes. And I think having I don't know how many guys are returning, more than half the team obviously, and having everyone back and knowing what it takes kind of thing is huge for sure.
Carter, when you look at Edmonton, obviously we know what they have in terms of the superstar power on offense. You guys being one of the top defensive teams in the league, just how much you embrace that challenge, especially on the biggest stage?
Yeah, obviously it's going to be a challenge. They have some pretty special players over there, and it's definitely going to embrace it. And I think, anytime you go against some of the best players in the world, it's always fun and challenging. And anytime you get challenged, it's awesome. So it's going to be a good series, I think.
You kind of touched on it, but when you see McDavid out there, what is, if you're on the ice against him, what is the danger, or what do you have to be careful about with him, because he's obviously so fast and does so many things?
Yeah, I think anytime he's on the ice, you have to be aware, and I think it's just kind of getting in his way a little bit and making him skate through you a little bit, and I think but he's obviously a special player, and every time he touches the puck, it seems like something happens, and I think it's just for us being stable and playing our structure and being good defensively and extra aware when he's on the ice.
Carter, for you personally, Edmonton in 2020 was, I would think, a pretty special memory for you. I mean, it's definitely going to be a much different atmosphere. But do you ever think about, like, every time you've been back to Edmonton, do you ever think about, this haul, I had the cup with me, that kind of thing, or anything
a little
like
bit
that?
actually. Yeah. Obviously, it was really special. I had my dad there too, which was awesome. It was a COVID year, but obviously, definitely special memories winning the cup there, and we were in the bubble there for about a month, so definitely pretty familiar with the surroundings in that area. But yeah, it was a lot of fun and definitely nothing but good memories being there.
You guys have faced a bunch of good goalies in every round so far in the playoffs. Just what are your thoughts on Skinner at Edmonton?
Yeah, obviously he's a really good goalie too. We don't play him as much as we play the goalies over here, but obviously they're there for a reason, and they made the final for a reason. You can't do it without good goaltending. So obviously it's going to be a challenge for us, and we played some of the best goalies in the world, and it's going to be kind of no different game plan for us, kind of thing.
Carter, from being around back here, when Paul Maurice has raved about the work ethic and the buy-in of this team from the minute he got here, and we know how hard, you all work. Barkey is legendary, obviously. When Barkey said the other night that Bob's the hardest worker on the team, can you sort of quantify what separates Bob from a room full of really hardworking men in the first place? How Barkey would say he's the hardest worker of you all?
Yeah, he definitely is, and I think he is on his own program, which is awesome. I mean, he's always doing different things where I'm like, I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, I don't know how that's going to help, but it does for him. You know what I mean? And yeah, he's out there early every practice doing his thing and getting in the zone. And obviously, all of us can kind of learn from what he brings to the rink every day with his work ethic. I mean, I've been around a lot of goalies, and no one likes it more when I shoot it hard and high than Bob. He loves it. He enjoys the challenge, I think. And I mean, some goalies get upset and shoot the puck back at you, but he just thrives and wants to get better every day, and that's kind of what I feel about Bob.
Can you give one example of that? What the heck is he doing? Sort of thing. Like when you see that, how is that going to help him? Like what is an example of that?
I mean, in the gym, I think sometimes he walks on a wooden stick, probably this big, like on a pole, like. It probably helps his balance, but I mean, none of us really do it. Yeah, that's probably one example there.
Just to follow up to that, have you noticed the last 2 years, or about a year ago, all of a sudden he became a superstar in the back? Have you noticed a difference in anything about him and Bob?
About Bob?
Yeah.
No, that's kind of the beautiful thing about Bob too. He just, every day, he's not thinking about if he's a superstar, or he's not thinking about what everyone else is thinking about him. I think he's just coming to practice daily and kind of just doing his own thing. And he wants to be a great goalie and wants to be the best, I think, in the world. And I think he just comes every day with that mindset, and it doesn't really matter what anyone else really thinks of him. I mean, yeah, it's kind of him.
That was a follow-up to that. My real question is, well, on your, everybody has a different journey here. Yours has some interesting past. You split 2 years between Bridgeport Sound Tigers and Missouri Mavericks.
Yeah.
What was going on there, and what do you remember about that?
Yeah, obviously, I was in the American League and the East Coast League for a little bit, and I think I mean, you can't really control where you play sometimes, and obviously both those places weren't exactly where I wanted to be, especially probably in the East Coast League at the time. And obviously I had to prove myself and work extra hard, and I mean, kind of proved to everyone that I could play at another level. And it was the same thing with the American League kind of thing. I had to prove myself that I could play in the NHL, and it's kind of been like, that's kind of been my journey the whole my whole career.
Was it a matter of playing time at either one of those that you? I think I read somewhere you had to you asked to play down so you get more playing time. Is that right?
No.
No. Okay.
No, I would never ask to play down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. We'll
But-
take 2 more questions. David and then Adam.
Carter, just wanted to talk to you, just being at Canadian, and you guys have been through some very raucous buildings this playoffs, but you know, it's going to be insane up in Edmonton, being a Canadian team in the final. What are you guys expecting from that, and just you personally, like, you know, what it's going to be like, but you know, how crazy do you think it's going to be?
I think it's going to be nuts. I mean, yeah, obviously they're really passionate about their hockey up there, and I think, yeah, it's going to be a crazy. I don't know when the last time they're in the final. It's probably been a while for those fans, and I mean, I expect nothing but the best atmosphere, and it's a lot of fun going into buildings with a good atmosphere, like kind of like we did last series with New York and Boston. And I mean, when the crowd's loud, it's the atmosphere is like awesome to play for and play in intense moments, so it's fun.
And speaking of journeys, literally the journey between here and Edmonton, the longest distance I think between any teams in the final ever. But first, just what do you like to do when you're on these long flights, and how do you guys stay fresh when you're on the plane for, I don't know, 6, 7, however long hours it is?
Yeah, obviously those, like, it's gonna be a long flight, and I think it's getting rest when you need it. We like to play cards sometimes, and I think recovery is the biggest thing. I think whenever you get on the plane, when you get there, you kind of gotta get your body right to what it needs for the day, or what you need to do to feel good the next day, kind of thing, whether it's sleeping or going on the bike or something like that, or whatever you need to do, kind of thing. And that's kind of, everyone's different, and I think that's kind of been our whole team's mindset, just trying to get your body ready to play.
Who's the best at poker or whatever card games you guys play?
Probably me. No, dude, I don't know. It goes around. We play poker, but yeah, I don't know. I'd say maybe Forsling, Gustav. He's tight. Plays tight, yeah.
Thank you guys. Thanks, everybody.